Call your sponsor. Call your sponsor. Call your sponsor. Call you.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor. Call.
People can shift whatever their thing is. It's more based on who they have around them. So there could be somebody that's secure attached and is with an avoidant or an anxious, and that their type will shift over time with that person.
Oh, wow. I know that. That's interesting.
Which gives me hope being on the avoidant. I tend to be the avoidant side. I'm halfway out the door. And it gives me hope to know that I could potentially be secure attached if I'm aligned with those types of vibrations and those types of people.
Oh, wait. Okay, time out. Because I have to figure out. I thought you were saying a secure attachment could be pushed into the avoidant attachment with avoidant.
Yeah, either way. It goes both ways.
Either way. Yes, I have heard that a secured attached with the anxiously attached could grow out of it to become a secured attached, but it's only with a secured attached.
Yes, and it can also go the other way. What makes it go one way or the other, I'm not quite clear. I think that's like a Huberman podcast or something.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it could shift. So whatever one, and I don't know what those forces are that make it shift. Is it that it's more of a dominating thing, or I'm not like a dominating personality or vibration? I'm not sure. I just assumed everyone was looking to get secure attached, and that everything would gravitate towards that way. But I distinctly remember that if someone was secured attached, if they were not continuing on with others of that vibration, that they could shift in their attachment style.
Well, what I think of is that if you're secured so I don't necessarily think everyone's going for secured attached.
Okay.
I think I'm going for what's familiar. So
without a doubt,
going for the anxiously or the avoidant attachment, and I'm going to feel anxiously attached because that's familiar, or the disorganized attachment where, I never know how it's going to be. So it's always, like a roller coaster ride, a cocaine bump. I don't know where we're going. But I'm holding on, and this is what feels familiar to me, where somebody who's securely attached, who grew up in an environment where they could trust their inner self, they would find a roller coaster ride and a coke bump awful. They would find that horrible. Whereas I find it, we're home. Yummy.
Right.
And so my goal is to move away from that equanimity, from that being my baseline.
Yeah. So, I guess for me, what's my experience? My experience is, as I continue this path, like being active and untreated for alcoholism is progressive, right? I know that has been my story. It's gotten progressively worse. With a program, the way I relate to myself, my feelings, others, gets progressively better over time. So what I mean is my relationships, my intimate relationships, if I trace however many boyfriends I've had in recovery, the types of guys that I was choosing and the relationship dynamics were progressively healthier.
Right. Yes. I say that it's like that line incline, that when I was drinking and drugging, it was all going downhill. And then when I got sober, everything started going uphill for me.
So, God, there's so many things happening in my brain right now. I'm like having trouble focusing on one thing.
I can jump in and get us back to our pink cloud analogy.
Yes.
So my favorite analogy about the grocery store in our brain, where I had these this drive to the grocery store where my needs are met, kind of input by my caregiver, right? Where I abandon myself to take care of them, and that's my only way to the grocery store. And as I get older and drink and drug and do all this stuff, I get 20-foot embankments of snow to that drive to the grocery store in my brain. That's the only way to go to get my needs met. And what happens in recovery in this pink cloud is that it starts to melt, and we start to see all these different ways to get to the grocery store, and it's exciting and it's new and it's recovery, and we're like, oh my God, there's a million ways to get there. But inevitably what happens is we get scared and we start to build those 20-foot embankments, and there starts to only be one way again.
Wow.
Even in recovery, and so that's why sometimes the new programs can be like, oh my gosh, there's all these different ways to go, or, but inevitably it's like we still have to do our own work to, even if we saw those other pathways, we're still driving that one way at the grocery store.
Wow. Yeah, I get that. So it's almost like whatever that pattern is that I grew up into ends up being there. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, we can't get away from it until we do the work.
Yeah. And I guess like talking to you, go ahead.
The work looks like I'm going to quit drinking. Oh my gosh, what a pink cloud. Oh my God, now I've done the work. I quit drinking. I did steps. I sponsored people. I've stayed sober all these years. And then you're like, wait, what? I'm still operating from that software.
I know for me, what's happened at the core is that there's other feelings underneath all of that action and all of that excitement and all of the newness and all of those things. So pink cloud, yes, the initial thing, and then, phasing out and then having more patterns show up. And it ultimately, for me, is there's feelings that haven't necessarily been experienced underneath all of the excitement.
That's exactly right. And do I have to go back in and experience every feeling and do a different outcome?
See,
is that the way to healing?
Is it? No.
I don't know. That's what some therapists will tell you.
Yeah, well, I ultimately, right? It's how I think I sometimes hear it, I have to feel it to heal it.
Yeah, but they're saying like go back in that childhood, experience that feeling, and now you go in and be there for your inner child who went through that, and have a different safe experience, and going through every single one of those that stand out and feeling the feelings in that moment, but rescuing your inner child and giving a different outcome, that's the way to get to a secure attachment and reset all of those, if it's scary, it's familiar, triggers.
That's really deep. So I would say, yes, I'm slowly experiencing just like a little bit tip of the iceberg of that stuff. But I also think that because like I find whatever that vibration, like water finds its own level, that those experiences will be shown to me to heal.
Yes.
Because I'm recreating all those patterns, right?
That's exactly right. Like I am bringing on some level people into my life that will help me either heal or re-traumatize myself.
Ugh.
So we're either melting the snow embankments on either side of the drive to the grocery store, or we're creating higher ones.
I love this analogy of going to the grocery store. I'm thinking like, what do I want from the grocery store? It's like, how am I even getting there?
I just got back from my trip. I need to go to the grocery store so bad.
Oh, I love that analogy. Because I totally identify. And sometimes those patterns of creating larger snowbanks are so I don't even realize I'm doing it because it's what I know. It feels comfortable.
Exactly. That to me is the point. And that's where I get to let myself off the hook, where I see so many people beating themselves up.
Yeah.
It's like, you didn't map out your drive to the grocery store. Somebody put that there and they told you this is the only way because they thought it was the only way. And now, of course, you don't realize that there's other ways. And how can you be kind to yourself instead of beating up on yourself for, I keep going to the same grocery store to do the same thing, even though I have this much time of sobriety, even though I sponsored this many people. It's like, well, yeah, you were only taught way back when 0 to 5, 0 to 7, one way. And be kind to yourself and let the snow embankments melt. And it's scary that there's different ways there.
That's it. That's really it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It really is.
So, we're coming up on the final 5.
I'll go. It's my turn. I like to do every other one because,
okay, great.
Yeah,
it's
you're
balanced.
so good at the questions, though. I'm a pillow princess when it comes to questions, you know. Okay. So we're pink clouding. When did you fall off? When did you realize that you fell off your pink cloud in AA?
Oh, God. I mean, there wasn't when I'm looking back in the beginning stages of my sobriety, there's nothing that's surfacing where I'm like, oh, this was where it stopped. But what I will say is that I'm forever trying to create an equation, like a transaction of like, I go to this many meetings and so I should be feeling this way. And I know that has been a constant thing throughout my life, even before sobriety. So it was like, how many drinks, how many pills, how many lines, how many whatever is going to get me where I need to be or where I think I need to be. And so in sobriety, it was like, okay, well, so 10 meditation books, sitting for this long, saying hello to this many newcomers, going to this meeting, you know what I mean? Like I was always in my brain, that's been like a very deep groove in trying to manage or control my emotions.
Oh, so good. Yes, it's like an OCD ritual.
Yeah.
And
did you have a discernible thing about your pink cloud?
I remember walking in and thinking, these are like truth basements. This is a place where people were telling the truth. And it was so like just jarring to me. I mean, I loved it, but I also was like, I didn't know we were going to tell the truth in life. Are you kidding me? And it was so exciting. And I thought everybody was working their program and everybody was like on this truth journey and healing. And then I probably fell off my pink cloud when it was like, yeah, but I totally steal from my employer. And I'm like, wait, what? And it's like, oh yeah, we got this scam going on with this. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I remember going, oh, maybe they don't have answers, And that's when I fell off my pink cloud. And like, and the truth is, I think the scariest part was like, oh, maybe these other people can't fix me. Maybe it is my inner work and my inner job, and I actually have to do the work. Even though I'm here,
I love that because you also talk about the pedestal.
Right.
And putting people up, right? And so it's like, yeah, that realization that it's an inside job.
Yeah, I'm always looking for somebody to save me. I always want somebody to come in and go, we want you to live in this beautiful grand place and we don't want you to pay rent, baby girl. And we want to just give you lots of money and we want to like make sure you're safe and happy at all times. And I'm just always like, is that them? Is that them?
Mm-mm.
You know?
Mm.
And more, it's like, first of all, that's not a thing.
It's not a thing?
Then second of all, if you do want to feel like that, you're going to give it to yourself.
That's a true story.
Facts.
True story. This was great. Thank you, Misty.
Thank you, darling. So much fun.
Till the next one.
Call you sponsor, bitch.
Call your sponsor.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor. Call your sponsor.